Welcome to episode 62 of the State of the Market for Law Firm Sales in 11 Minutes. My name is Jeremy Pook and I lead Senior Attorney Match. In today's In 11 Minutes, we'll discuss the impact of digital rainmaking upon law firm sales. So let's jump right into it. It's really two observations we want to share about the impact of digital rainmaking upon law firm sales. So let's go back, not so far back, to 2020. 2020 caused a shift in attention of where consumers, that is, clients for legal services, where and how they look to retain attorneys. Just as society pivoted digitally in 2020, so did prospective clients for law firms and for hiring lawyers. What that meant then and what continues now is that prospective clients look online for lawyers and law firms to hire. That has drastically, really revolutionized the rainmaking focus for lawyers and law firms to digital. Whereas yesteryear's rainmakers were focused on word of mouth, in-person rainmaking. Post 2020, there's a shift in consumer behavior that has resulted in rainmaking becoming digital rainmaking. So now let's share that first of the two observations about the impact of digital rainmaking upon law firm sales. When it comes to senior attorneys, that is, attorneys who have practiced more than 30 years, they developed their books of business and the value of their practices primarily pre-2020. And the value chips, as we call it, of what their law firms are worth consist primarily of their client list and their referral source list. That is their book of business that they worked for so many years, decades, to develop by handing out literally thousands upon thousands of business cards, shaking hands, going to events, in some in person. But as a result of now being in the 3.0 digital era for the legal industry, senior attorneys in particular who are not committed to digital rainmaking vis-a-vis digital marketing, multi-channel digital marketing, they are not replenishing their client list as well and as often as the pre-2020, pre-Google era. In addition, their referral sources are not being replaced and replenished as they did in yesteryear, because often their referral sources are contemporaries of theirs and their contemporaries are starting to retire. As a result, the value of their practices will continue to go down by not converting to become digital rainmakers. And now let's look at the impact of that decrease in the number of clients in particular that senior attorneys are attracting via digital rainmaking post 2020. If you are not attracting as many clients and your book of business is not replenishing as much as it did in the pre-Google era, then in what we call law firm sales 1.0, where purchasing law firms are paying a percentage of revenues derived from the clients coming from a senior attorney's book of business. If you're not replenishing your book of business as much as you did in that pre-Google, pre-2020 era, then you're not going to make as much money. The consideration paid via an earnout on the value of your book of business is going to continue to decrease if you do not commit to multi-channel digital marketing. So the message on that observation is to senior attorneys who are not committed to multi-channel digital marketing, now is the best time for you to consider selling your law firm. Now let's look at the other observation. As a result of digital rainmaking, which growing law firms more and more become pot committed to, they are attracting more clients. As a result of attracting more clients, their practices are becoming more valuable. And what we're starting to see in the marketplace is the introduction of Law Firm Sales 2.0. In Law Firm Sales 2.0, purchasing firms are going to be paying an earnout based upon the value of the book of business. They are also starting to value the digital value and brand equity of growing law firms. That is, today's post 2020 growing law firms, because they are committing to brand equity for their law firms. And because they are focused on digital rainmaking, where digital rainmaking is not focused, does not require the goodwill of an individual attorney as much as clients going online saying, "Oh, I want to retain that firm because I see that that firm has 400 five-star Google reviews," as an example, or that firm has this a goodwill associated with its litigation practice, its intellectual property practice, as compared to yesteryear's Rainmaker Attorney, where that goodwill was focused primarily on an individual attorney or attorneys themselves. As a result, in Law Firm Sales 2.0, we are going to see higher multiples in those sales because the sellers are selling not only the book of business, but also that digital value and brand equity attributable to their digital rainmaking. Now, in terms of a warning to senior attorneys in particular about the impact of digital rainmaking upon law firm sales, what we are seeing is digital disruption in the marketplace. That is because of Google in particular. And Google is still what we call the number one referral source for attorneys in America, as well as the leading rainmaker for law firms today, because until AI really reaches where we all expect it to reach in terms of informing us about who is the best attorney, law firm for a prospective client to hire, we are all, when I say we, that is society, we all go to Google. We ask Google, who is the best attorney or law firm to meet my needs near me? As a result, that digital disruption, what we continue to see in the marketplace, in particular for senior attorneys, is that whereas you used to attract clients because of word of mouth. Oh, you need to call Attorney Jones. Oh, you need to contact Attorney Kelly. Or you need to contact Jones and Kelly because they're the best personal injury law attorneys. They're the best estate planning attorneys for your needs. Clients are just bypassing yesteryear's rainmakers, and the digital rainmakers of today are retrieving, receiving, attracting that business because today's clients are searching online, searching digitally for lawyers and law firms to hire. So let's look at that impact that that's having on law firm sales, right? Because of the rise of digital rainmakers and the corresponding vanishing of yesteryear's word of mouth rainmakers, what we are seeing is that if your book of business is not replenishing as much as it did in yesteryear, the value of your firm is going to go down. Unfortunately, that's a guarantee because at the end of the day, what is it that any purchasing law firm wants and needs most? They want and need clients. And if your law firm is not generating as many new clients as it did pre-Google, it's just going to be worth less as time goes on. But here's the but. When it comes to growing law firms, right? When it comes to growing law firms, they need three resources to boost their growth. First and foremost is, yes, new clients, the book of business. They also need an experienced workforce because even if you have all the clients in the world that you want to be able to service, growing law firms need to service those clients. Senior attorney-led firms, even if your book of business is not replenishing as much as it did pre-Google, you likely have additional lawyers and para staff at your firm. Those para staff and attorneys present great value, great resources that growing firms need because you need the experienced, talented workforce to do the sophisticated legal work that growing law firms need to be providing to those clients that they continue to attract digitally and by purchasing, let's say, a senior attorney's firm with that book of business. In addition, growing law firms need digital content because they recognize that as growing law firms recognize the value of digital rainmaking today. Well, what do they need to support that digital rainmaking? They need content to attract the attention of clients looking online for lawyers and law firms to hire. Well, what is it that senior attorneys and senior attorney-led firms have? They have subject matter knowledge, really what we call treasure chests of subject matter knowledge that growing law firms want and need to convert into digital content to publish to multi-channel digital marketing outlets to attract that attention of today's and tomorrow's clients. So just in summary, as senior attorneys need to recognize that we are in the 3.0 digital era for the legal industry. What does that mean? It means that rainmaking has shifted. Rainmaking has shifted from word of mouth to digital rainmaking. If you're not committed to digital rainmaking and you're considering selling your law firm, now is the best time to sell your firm, even if your book of business is not replenishing as much as yesteryear, because you have your book of business, you present an experienced workforce, and you have subject matter knowledge that growing law firms want and need because they need to convert your subject matter knowledge into digital content to attract today's and tomorrow's clients who are looking to digital rainmakers that will catch their attention when they're looking to hire lawyers and law firms to meet their legal needs. And that is today's state of the market for just about 11 minutes.